In this tutorial, we are going to be talking about conditional statements or if-else statements in specific. So, what are these statements? They are actually conditional statements that allow us to specify condition and then to perform an action based on that condition when a condition is met. Take for instance the traffic lights. Let's say if the traffic is red, then stop the car. Or if he's 18 years and above, then he's eligible to vote. This is just some examples of conditional statements. So this is when Boolean will be very useful here. Let's declare a variable of Boolean type. A Boolean data type can store a value that is either true or false. Then here I'm going to name it is eligible. So I'm just going to set this to true. So this is how you define the if. You use the if keyword, then you open this parenthesis and then type in your condition. So what I'm going to do now is to check if this variable is eligible is true, then execute something. So if is eligible double equal true. Notice this, the double equal it checks the variable on this side, it compares the value here and then the value here, and then returns true if the values are the same. Otherwise it returns false. So it checks if this is eligible is true and this one is true, then it returns true. Otherwise, if they are not identical, that means if they do not match, then it returns false. Then you open this parenthesis. If I press enter, there should be you open this curly bracket. So you open it and close it like this. So inside this curly bracket, you write what you want to be executed if your condition is true. So now here I'm just going to type in system.out.println. So let's just say he is eligible to vote. Just an example. So now let me try to run this program and we should have this printed. And you see we have this here. He is eligible to vote. Let's try let's assume this is false. So let's change this to false and we should not have anything printed. So let me run this again. And here you see we have nothing printed here. That's because this condition is not true. So normally the JVM executes Java code from top to the bottom. That is, it executes Java code line after line. So the if statements, they are also called selection control statements. They are used to break the normal flow of the program by allowing us to skip or execute some parts of the code when a specific condition is met. So this is what I mean. So let's zoom here. Let's use, there is actually the else statement, and the else statement we define it using the else block and then define a block here. So if this condition is not true, what is here will be executed. Let's just say if he is not eligible, then do something here. So if this condition is not true, so do something here. So what we want to do here is just to print out something. Print line, he is not eligible to vote. So let's try it on this again, and you see here we have he is not eligible to vote. That's because this condition over here is not true, because it's eligible is false, not true. So is eligible, we set this to false, so we check is eligible equals true, then he is eligible to vote, and else he is not eligible to vote. So this actually, there is, when you're using a boolean here, you can see that this here, if we come here, you can see that here, over here, is eligible equals true can be simplified to is eligible. This is what they mean here. So instead of writing this here, since it is a boolean value and the value it is going to return inside this condition is boolean, so we can write this, we can rewrite it like this. So just use it, you don't have to use the double equal sign. So if it's eligible, because this is a boolean value, so if I try to run this again, we should have the same output, and you see we got he is not eligible to vote. That's because is eligible was set to false. So there's actually another cool thing you can do here. Let's try to change this to true, and then here is eligible, so I'm just going to use the logical not operator. There are actually the logical operators. We have the logical and, logical or, and then the logical not, which we are going to look at them one after the other, but for now let's look at the logical not. So you just prefix your condition with the exclamation mark. So this is the logical not operator. So it will check if this condition is not true. So if is eligible is false, then execute here. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to change this to not eligible and here to eligible. So let's try to run this. So as you can see, we have he is eligible to vote. That's because is eligible was set true. And if we try to change this to false, we should instead have this printed out. He is not eligible to vote. So let's run this one once again, and you see we got he is not eligible to vote. Exactly what we have over here. So that actually another thing you can do is, let's try to define a variable of age. So let's say age here, and then I'm going to set it to 17. So since we know that only people who are 18 years and above are eligible to vote, so let's try to check this condition. So I'm going to change this to eligible and this one to not eligible. So inside my condition here, I'm going to change this. I'm just going to delete this one. So I will check if age. So we know that the condition is if age is greater than or equals 18, since you have to be 18 years and above to be eligible to vote. So if age is greater than or equals 18, then he is eligible to vote, otherwise he is not. So let's run this. So because here we have 17, we should get this printed instead. So you see we got he is not eligible to vote. So let's change this to, let's say he is 20 years old. So let's run this again. he is eligible to vote. That's because he's 20 years old. And the condition says you have to be 18 years and above. So now let's look at another example. So what I'm going to do is to change this variable. So I'm just going to say is paying advance. So let's assume here this is advance. Let's assume here what we want to do is to check if you have a customer. So if this customer is paying in advance of his purchase, then give him some discount. Otherwise, then he is not entitled to a discount. There's just an example. So what I'm going to do now, let me clean this all. So let's check our statement. So if is paying advance, so if the customer is paying in advance of his purchase, so system.out.println, so give, let's say 10% discount. So otherwise the customer has no discount. Otherwise no discount. This is just a simple one. So let's try to run this, and we have no discount because the customer is not paying in advance. So this is in advance was set to false. So otherwise here this block is executed. So another one we have is the else if statement. The else if block allows you to specify as many conditions as you want. So let's assume here, otherwise let's say here if the customer is paying in advance, we should give him discount, or if he's a regular customer, then give him discount. So we can do this by using the else if statement. We can use else if, and then here inside here our block, so here we will type in our condition. So let's declare another boolean variable. So boolean is regular customer. So let me set this to true. So else if is, so else if he is a regular customer, you should also give him 10% discount. So give 10% discount. It's very slow. So let's run this again once more. So you see here we got give 10% discount. That's because he is a regular customer. So another way to do this is this. Actually our code is not as efficient because we are repeating ourselves. In programming there is what we call the dry rule. Don't repeat yourself. If you see yourself repeating codes over and over again, it means that your code is not efficient. So there is actually more we can do here to simplify this thing. So I can take this out and then delete the else if statement, and then come over here. So inside here we can actually specify two conditions here. So from our program, from what we do, from our perspective, what we want to do is, if the customer is paying in advance or he is a regular customer, then give him a discount. So what we can do here is to use the logical or operator to actually check if either of the statement. So if one of the statement is true, then what we have inside our if block will get executed. Otherwise, none of them, the else block will be executed. So we use this pipe, double pipe here. So then the other condition then is regular customer. So if he is paying in advance or is a regular customer, then give him a discount. So let's run this again. So you can see here we got give 10% discount. That's because this condition, one of these condition is true. This one is regular customer is true. So the logical or operator, it evaluates to true if one of the condition is true. So let's assume here you only want to give him discount only if he is paying in advance of purchase and he is a regular customer. So he must be paying in advance of purchase and he must be a regular customer in order to get this discount. So what you can do here is to, so I'm just going to delete this out. So there's something what we call nested if statement. That's if statement within another if statement. So inside this if statement, so our condition says he must be paying in advance of purchase and he must be a regular customer. So let's check again. So if he's paying in advance, then we should check again if is regular customer. So then we define another block here, then we execute system.out. So give 10% discount. So let's run this again. So here we got no discount because here in our condition we explicitly specify that the customer must be paying in advance and he must be a regular customer before we will give him discount. So because this one is false over here, hence this block is executed. So this actually is also not efficient. The other way to do this is to use the logical AND operator. So this is how we use the logical AND operator. Let me cut this out. So the logical AND operator, we use the double ampersand. So we use it like this, and then we give in another condition. So is regular customer. So this both of these have to be true in order for this block to be executed. So if the customer is paying in advance of purchase and he is a regular customer, so give him 5% discount. So let's try to change this to true. So if he is paying advance and is a regular customer, then give him discount. So let's run this. So you see we have give 10% discount. So these are the logical operators. We have the AND, the OR, and then the logical NOT. Let's do a let's look at this logical NOT operator again. So let's take, for instance, we can actually change this block. If we use this operator, if not and not. So if he is not paying in advance and he is not a regular customer, so let's change this to no discount. No discount. So otherwise, give him 10% discount. So let's run this again. So you see we have give 10% discount. So the logical not operator, what it does, it checks if a condition is not true, so before it will execute. So because this is true and this is true, so this, hence this block is not executed and this block is executed. Let's take another one more example here. So let me just come down here. So let's declare another variable. Let's say x equals 10. So what we want to do is to check if this value is a positive or negative number. So we know that a positive number has to be 0, has to be greater than 0. So we can use the if x is greater than 0, then print so x is a positive, just like that. So else as is negative. So let's run this. And you see you have x is positive. That's because x is 10, but 0 is actually also 0 is actually also a positive number. So what we can do is to use the greater than or equal. So if x is greater than or equal 0, then it's a positive number, otherwise it's a negative number. So another thing, another operator we have, the condition operator, is the ternary operator. So how does this work? Actually, our condition here, we can replace it with this ternary operator. So let's take, for instance, let's define a variable string. Let's name it let's just say text, and then let's just leave it like this. So we're not actually assigning it to any value, so we're just declaring it. So let's declare another variable here, age. Let's give it 18 here. So this is how the ternary operator works. So now I can use here text equals, then age is greater than or equal 18, then question mark, then here, don't worry, I'm going to explain this, so let me just type in. So you are eligible to vote, otherwise you're not eligible to vote. So now let's try to print out this text and see what we have. And you see we have you're eligible to vote. So let me explain this. Here we define a string variable, and here an age of integer variable, and set it to 18. Then here we say text equals age. So this is actually a condition. this one over here. So here age is greater than or equals 18, then a question mark here. So this is actually a condition. So this condition, this is the syntax, your condition, and then a dollar sign. So here you write what you want to be assigned to this text variable if this condition is true, and then here what you want to be assigned to this text variable if this condition is not true. So here, because this our condition is true, so what we have here will be assigned to the text variable. So assuming our condition here is not true, so what we have here will be assigned to the text variable. So let's assume here we have 16, and let's run sorry, not here, age, let's change this to 16 and then run this again. So we have, you are not eligible to vote. That's because age is 16. So we also have the other comparison operator or conditional operators. We have the equal, we have greater than, we have less than or equal, greater than or equal, and then not equal. Let's take for instance here, so here instead these two conditions can actually be replaced by using the not equal, but actually this one is more efficient here. So I can delete this one and then use this, the not equal. So if is paying advance is not equals true, and then if is a regular customer not equal true. So so here if this one over here is not true, and also if this one is not true, so execute this one. So let's run this. So because all of them are true, so this block is going to get ignored, and hence this one is going to be executed. And you see we have give 10% discount. So before I end this one, let's actually talk about comments. So comments, what are comments? Comments are actually some part of your code. They are not actually executed, they are ignored by the JVM. So we use comments to explain code, or you can use them as a reminder. So comments are very useful. Like when you write a code now, you can actually comment it and tell what this code does. It is actually also useful to write comments when someone is looking at your code, so he knows what you're doing. Because if you explain some parts of your code here, like you can use comment to explain what a code does actually, and a lot more. We use them for many reasons. So there are two types of comments we have in Java. We have the inline comment, which is used by this double / here. So I can actually write my condition here, execute if condition is true. This is just an example. And then we have the multiple line comment. We use the / then asterisk, and then here if I press enter, IntelliJ will automatically close the comment for me. So let me just press enter, and as you can see, my comment is, so this is a multiple line comments. So this one, actually you can write multiple lines of comments here, but for this one it has to be on a single line. So these are the two types of comments we have in Java. So this is the end of our for this tutorial for this section. I hope you really enjoyed this one, and for the next one, wow, the next one is going to be amazing. Actually, we're going to be looking at so I'll just see you in the next one. Don't worry, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with others. It really helps me with my YouTube channel, and don't forget to like and subscribe. So I'll see you in the next one. Bye.